Hip-hop. Anonymous.
Saturdays.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sapo Saturdays. You got your boy ASAP Froggy, the one and only Bingus Frog,
Ribbit, y'all.
and Mr. A-Bomb, a.k.a. Doc Froggle Day.
What's hoppin', everybody?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for being with us on this gorgeous Saturday. We are Sapo Studios. Our goal is to bring the majority of profits and ownership rights back into the hands of musicians. We operate under the umbrella of the Notorious Frog NFT project, a.k.a. Frogland. Do your own research, but get involved. We have plans to unveil a marketplace where you can buy and sell stems and do a whole lot more, but until then, we're jamming with artists and chatting it up with them about music, life, and NFTs. The last track we played was from El Guapo, who's been on our show. If you're interested in having your tracks played on the show, reach out to us on Twitter. Today, we have a very special guest. His name is Taylor Hattie. I'm very excited to get to know him because Doc Froggle and ASAP Froggy here know him very well, and I don't. So the audience and I are going to get to know him at the same time. Taylor, how are you today?
Welcome, brother.
Oh, yo, what up?
What's
I'm
going
good.
on, man?
How are y'all?
Where in the world are you? Let's start there.
I'm in Costa Rica right now.
Legend. What part of Costa Rica?
It's called Playa Hermosa.
Okay, is that on the Caribbean side or no?
No, Pacific side.
I went there like 2 years ago, and
now he knows everything about Costa Rica.
I know it all, Taylor. I know it all.
What are you doing out in Costa Rica?
Was visiting family. I've been writing a bunch of music, kind of resetting from a long few years.
Yeah, I
man.
hear that. Yeah, the last few years, whether or not you've been going through other things, have been crazy. So I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
Born and raised in Las Vegas.
Nice. And
Where it all began,
What
man.
What is it like growing up in Vegas? Because that's a place that like I always want to go and then never want to go back to. So
yeah. That's kind of how it feels growing up there. I mean, it's just nuts. Like, it's very conservative on the one hand, and then like on the other hand, it's completely chaotic and practically, I don't know, it's the city of sin. It's so
really
dark.
is. It's
Yes.
so dark. Do you feel like living there gave you an opportunity to perform live more, whereas living someplace else might not have? Because there are so many clubs and bars and things that open themselves up to all sorts of performances because that's the nature of the town.
Yeah, definitely that's the case. You can perform 7 nights a week if you want.
Yeah.
It's always going.
How did you get into music initially?
I just started playing guitar when I was like 12 or 13. I saw somebody, I was like, this kid I thought was cool, he was playing guitar, and I was like, I want to do that. That's cool.
Did you take lessons, or are you all self-taught?
I took lessons for like a couple of years on and off, and actually I ended up going to Berklee College of Music in Boston, but I didn't really study guitar there. I did mostly production. So.
Okay. And who are
Yeah.
some of your influences musically?
Now or when I was younger?
Well, I mean, I guess when you started and what
made
drove
you start?
Yeah, drove you in the direction of music.
Oh, I mean, definitely classic rock, like primarily Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
Black Sabbath.
Fuck.
And got a little older, I kind of got into hip hop, mostly like Dr. Dre and Jay-Z and a little bit of Kanye.
That's awesome. And when you were going to school at Berklee, were you thinking that you were going to come out of there as a musician or as a producer or both? In terms of your career path?
Yeah, initially I wanted to do film composing, and I
remember.
I worked at Hans Zimmer's studio like straight out of college for one of the composers there in Santa Monica.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of mind-blowing when I ended up there. I was like, how did I get in here? Like 21.
How did you get in? How did that?
Because he's a genius.
Bingus wants to know.
He
wanna
is a
know.
genius, man. Like, just the soundscapes you build are amazing. And whenever I had projects that I needed film for, even some people would be like, man, you made this scene so awesome and the music is great. It's like, well, I've fucking downloaded that song off the internet. But
Did go to Berkeley for music.
But then they were like, can you make something? And because they thought I made it, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then I reached out to Mr. Hattie over here, and I went to your when you lived in the Malibu area, when you lived in the yurt.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I ended up there. I got an interview like, I don't know, like a month into being in LA, and I went, and it was like a 4-hour long interview, and this guy who was like interviewing me was the assistant to the composer, and we just went through the whole thing, and I didn't hear back anything for like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 months, and I was like, I guess that I'm not getting in there, and then I got a random phone call saying like they wanted me to come in and like take the job. So I went in and I found out they actually gave the job to somebody I went to school with, who graduated 1 year before me, and he just fucking hated the job, and he was ready to get out of there. So he was training me like for a week or two,
Telling you
like,
how shit it was.
Yeah.
It's like mentally prepping you.
You were
Yeah.
so excited for like one of the biggest opportunities of your life, and this dude's just like, yeah, this is gonna suck, by the way.
Dude, he looked so depressed, and I was like, what is going on?
So was that your experience, or not even close?
So, all right, I'll say this. It was intense. It was very intense. And you can't talk to anybody, and it's just you're there like 10, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week at least. So, and I lived like somewhere like randomly downtown, so I'm driving like an hour and a half each way at least every day to get there at like 6 a.m. and being there till at least 6 p.m, sometimes later. You're just doing
super stressed out, but you're like, I'm living the dream.
That's
yeah,
intense.
you think you're telling yourself you're living the dream. And yeah, I mean, honestly, like I got into like a lot of arguments with the guy I was working for, and it was it was so stressful, and it wasn't even really what I wanted to be doing in terms of like, the job function, which I get. Like you have to kind of do whatever. At least that's what they tell you.
Yeah, it's like paying your dues.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, you pay your dues. But I mean, the straw that broke the camel's back, like I actually got fired for this, was we were in the machine room, and it's where they keep all the computers for all the sample libraries and stuff. And the composer's wife asked me to reorganize it in a certain way. So I had gone through and done that like in the morning, and then the composer comes in, and he's looking for something, and he calls me into the machine room, and he's like, hey, where's my hard drives? I'm like, oh, I moved them over here. And he's like, why the fuck would you move them over there? Like super condescending. And I was like, really innocent. I was like, well, your wife told me to. And he looked at me, like he turned and looked at me like with a death stare, and he's like, don't you ever fucking talk about my wife like that again. And I was like, what? Like I was just telling him like actually.
Keep
I was
my
like,
wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
dude, yeah, he Will Smith.
Oh my god. So what you just said, fuck this, I'm out.
No, I was like, I didn't know it was a big deal. Like, it totally, like, didn't even register with me that it was that big a deal, because he always was yelling at me anyway. So I was like, whatever. And then he called me in, like, 10 minutes later into his office, and he's like, yeah, man, I just don't think this is going to work out. You don't... And I was like, what? I'm like, I was just telling you, like, factually, your wife literally told me to move that over there. That's all. He's like, yeah, it's just not going to work. I think you need to go now.
He was probably,
and I was like,
you know what? He was probably embarrassed for reacting like that after having like realized that you were
That's
literally
crazy.
being factual.
He talked to
And
his-
you can't come back from that.
He talked to his wife later on. She's like, "No, I did it because we had that talk the other night, right?" And you're saying, and he's like, "Ah, fuck, you're right. I can't go in there now and tell him like, my bad anymore." He's like, the bridge has been burnt at that point.
That is wild. So what projects did you work on while you were there?
So when I got there, they just finished up like Smurfs 2, and then I worked on Beverly Hills Chihuahua and Despicable Me 2, I think, and then like a couple other random things I don't really remember, but those were like the main things we were doing.
That's awesome. And after you got axed for talking shit about this guy's wife, what? where did you go next? What was your next move?
After that, there was this guy named Jim Hill who was like he was an orchestral scoring recording engineer, and I forgot how I got in touch with him, but I worked with him on like some sessions. It was more of like what I wanted to be doing. It was like in big studios, like tracking like huge ensembles and stuff. So we did a couple episodes of Mad Men and then like some movie stuff for Warner Brothers, but that was all for free. Like I didn't get $1 for any of that. So
Wow.
I was just like shadowing him.
And so you
for
didn't
a
even
while.
have any sort of profits going to you after the fact as like a back end thing. Literally no money at all.
No. I was just like, I was literally like the lowest guy on the totem pole in that. It's like, it wasn't as intense as Hans Zimmer's thing, but it's very like, it's a slick operation. And those guys have been doing it for like 30, 40 years. So
you got a shit ton of experience that is like you couldn't
Invaluable.
get it. Yeah, invaluable that you couldn't get at fucking Berkeley even maybe.
Oh yeah, like I learned, and like in that time doing that stuff, I learned more than I've probably ever learned about recording. So
And being let go from Zimmer didn't stop you from getting the other gig. Clearly.
no, they like it's like expected that you either will quit or get fired. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like
So for
nobody
anyone-
makes it.
So for anyone interested in working for Zimmer, this is what to expect.
Or just probably in the industry alone. Don't mention anyone's wife if they're even if they tell you to do something. Just blame it on the intern.
keep their wife's name out of your mouth.
Just blame it on the intern.
Or you just be like, "Oh, I don't know, man. I didn't do any of this." Somebody else like,
you should ask your wife. Oh no, can't do that.
You should just say, I came in here and your wife was moving everything around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I should have just been like, I was at lunch. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I was never here.
it's just deny. You know what I mean? Until proven guilty is how we roll in this country. I know it doesn't seem like it, but that is actually the law. You are innocent until
Yeah. So
proven
don't
guilty.
walk yourself into it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
so-
but you know what? Really quick, I got to add. One of my friends from college, I hadn't spoken to him in like years. He randomly reached out to me, and he was actually working at the same studio at Hans Zimmer's place for a while, and he quit and like left LA. And
Oh
he's
wow,
like,
it
"Dude."
drove him out of LA.
No, yeah. Well, he just had enough of it, dude. Like
Yeah.
the whole system of like that side of the industry, it just fucking destroyed him. And like he had to, like, he left. He's like, nobody here is happy. Everybody's like a fucking megalomaniac, and like it's all like lies. And dude, it was just like some dark shit. I was like, bro, I feel you.
Well, and you know what? It's funny because like what you're describing almost sounds like a lot of these chef experiences where these people go to be like, you know, culinary masters.
We're back to cooking.
Yeah,
you were
we're
with
back
us
to-
a couple episodes ago. We went down the cooking rabbit hole.
Back to
pasta.
cooking. No, but you know, these like chefs get like barked at all day, every day, and just destroyed, ripped apart. But they're like doing what they love and becoming better. And it's like, you know, people go into that like masochistic space because it's going to make you better at what you do, but it might crush your fucking soul.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
welcome Web3.
That's what I was about to say. That's the thing, and that's about Web3 and the way that this is, you know, the community is being built. Sort of this. I know it's kind of a bullshit saying, which is "wagme," which is, you know, for those that
Wagami? Or?
we're all gonna make it. For all those that
That's some
don't get the
bullshit.
yeah, but no, in a sense, when you find those individuals that, you know, have sort of the same struggles that you have gone through, let's say, and you have common ground in that alone is a bonding experience that makes it like, okay.
Correct.
And now we have a new platform that some of these bigger heads are not really aware of yet, because like they're like you said, Hattie, like they've been doing this for 35, 40 years. They're not going to try to fix what isn't broken.
Right.
So, but that
Yeah.
leads them to miss the current opportunity that's right in front of their fucking eyes.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about, you know, bonding opportunities over community in Web3. I want to
Yeah.
talk about the bonding that led you guys to know each other. So I know that you were, Hattie, you were touring with a band called Naked Elephant. How did you get involved with those guys to begin with?
I met them. So after LA, I moved back to Las Vegas because I wasn't making any money in LA. Like I was working constantly, but no money. And I was like, this is BS. Like I want to make some dough. So I went back to Vegas, and because I found out you can like do the live production for the shows, and you make pretty good money. Like you make a lot of money doing the like live show production. So I was doing that, and I ended up at this downtown venue that Tony Shea opened called the Container Park, part of his whole Zappos downtown project. And I was just in charge of putting the bands on, and like running all the audio equipment at the venue. And this band was playing there every week for a while, and they were like the only band that I actually liked listening to. And I saw like 100 or more bands come through. So I got involved, like talking to them, and eventually they ended up moving to Las Vegas from California, and they were like, they actually called me like the same day I'd put a deposit down on getting a condo downtown. They're like, hey bro, we know you live in Vegas, and we're moving to Vegas, so like we need another roommate for our house, and we were wondering if you wanted to move in with us. I was like, really? Like, yeah, hell yeah. So I moved in with them, and I had all my recording equipment and set up the studio in the house, and they didn't even know I recorded music. They were like, what the fuck? So they asked me to start recording them, and I did. I started recording them, and then that eventually led to me like playing in the band with them
And producing.
So that was the
Actually,
start. That was the start
if
of
you
it.
Added these, man, because like your production and like it's unbelievable. Like the weight you bring to that type of man. It was.
I remember.
Can we play a Naked Elephant song? Would that be cool?
Yeah, if you pull it up on like Spotify or whatever.
I remember.
Is there? I'm going to let you speak. Just give me one second.
No,
is there,
no,
and
Bingus.
Is there a particular song that you think we should feature?
I mean, I like Raspberry Kiss
Okay.
or Long Way Home.
All right.
Those,
Sapo, go
those
ahead
are the
and
ones
pull
that are.
up Raspberry Kiss.
I know both of these songs.
Go ahead, Avon.
No, I just remember, like, you know, because Shia Papoose over here, a.k.a. ASAP Froggy, used to take me along with these filming gigs with him sometimes back in the day, and it was with shooting Naked Elephant. I remember seeing Hattie just over here on, you know, the soundboard while the show is going, just like making moves while also playing a fucking guitar too, and like doing like all these different jobs and just smoking it up there. I was like, bro, this is insane.
I mean, it's even just crazy how we had become connected, which like I had,
Dude, yeah.
I had met the lead singer of Naked Elephant, Josh Royce, at a party in Malibu, randomly. I was like with a friend.
Hollywood.
And, you know, there's hundreds of people at this party, and Josh and I are just kind of like looking at each other eventually and exchanged numbers. Did that whole thing that you do at LA parties, and then like never talk to this human again, right? And then maybe like a year later, I got a job shooting a travel show for the Tennis Channel, and I was in Paris, and at Roland Garros, and after I was working, I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I'm just going to stay here in Paris and kind of hang out for a couple weeks and just...
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Let's
why
walk around
not?
in Paris.
Me and my friend Yuta, we got an Airbnb, and then Yuta went to Germany, and I was like in Paris by myself, and then I was like, oh shit, like I'm like here in Europe alone. Like, and I was just like on Facebook, and I see this guy that I met at a party, like, you know, a year ago, like saying that he was in London or something. So I wrote on his Facebook page, like, yo, bro, are you coming to Paris? Because maybe some people do that. And so he responded back. He was like, no, but he was like, I had been posting that I was like filming in Paris. And he was like, no, but I'm going to Austria to film a 360 music video, like a VR 360 music video. And this is back in 2017. And you want to come film behind the scenes for that music video. And
which that is a whole experience, and I want to talk about that, but let's go ahead and feature Raspberry
Yeah, we
Kiss
got to,
first.
this is going to be a deep dive.
that's what I'm saying, man. It is a deep dive. There's a lot of personal weight here. And Raspberry Kiss is very nostalgic to that.
Yes,
so
it is.
We will listen.
All right, well, here is Naked Elephant with Raspberry Kiss. Let's check it out.
Nach unserem ersten Kuss hat sie gesagt, ich schmecke wie eine Himbeere. Make love to me, 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 make fais-moi l'amour, fais-moi l'amour.
Sit down, I'm a bad girl, but I'll do you so good. I say, lay down, you're a bad girl, but I'll do you so good. I want it like I want it like I want it like lay down like a lion with your wings tipped and gold. I got your tongue tied up in diamonds with these smooth criminals. I want it like I want it like When the sun comes undone, we are Do you want for more? So I'm ready. What are you waiting for? So let's stay on concrete floor. Noise on the cover. Ain't no room for another baby. Said that's too nasty.
Make love to me.
Said that's too nasty.
Make love to me.
No. Say that's too nasty.
Make love to me.
But until you're so good, lay down your bed, girl. But until you're so good, I wanna lie. I wanna lie.
Mach mit mir, Liebe.
Bro, that is just throwback.
Such a vibe. So much awesome funk in there and soul, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I that song. If you were not moving to that song, I don't want to be.
Something
your
wrong
friend.
with you. Something wrong with you.
So it is a vibe.
You
It
produced
is.
the shit out of that song. I want to get into that in 1 second, but let me go ahead and reset the room because we got a couple of new listeners here. We are Sapo Studios. Our goal is to bring back the majority of profits and ownership rights into the hands of musicians. We operate under the umbrella of the Notorious Frog NFT project, aka Frogland. Do your own research, but get involved, goddammit! We have plans to unveil a marketplace where you can buy and sell stems and do a whole lot more. But until then, we're jamming with artists and chatting it up with them about music, life, and NFTs. Today we have a very special guest, Taylor Hattie, formerly of Naked Elephant and now doing some solo work. He's gone way back with some of the Sapo Studios guys. ASAP Froggy over here and Doc Froggleday have a history with this gentleman, and we're digging into that now. So when you were with Naked Elephant and Raspberry Kiss came out, you were signed to Virgin. Is that right?
Yep, that is correct.
It's amazing. And how did you guys get involved with Virgin to begin with?
Virgin Records, yeah.
Virgin Records, yes.
Yeah, we're
man.
not getting involved with virgins.
All right, easy
Jesus,
guys.
Bingus.
I think people knew. I think people knew.
Yeah. Let's just clarify that.
Yeah.
How'd you guys get involved with all the virgins?
You guys were in a band, right?
I have to thank the one and only Prophet. Peace be upon him. I'm just kidding.
I was feeling cult vibes too when that was coming.
Well, so it goes back. I mean, it goes back to Burning Man. The first
Everything goes back to Burning Man. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. The first year, Josh, the lead singer-songwriter, went to Burning Man. He got introduced through a very roundabout way to these two women who owned a music publishing company in LA. And man, so we're in the Vegas house, right? And we're about to get kicked out of the house because the lease is up. And we're arguing with the owners of the people who are renting the property they were sort of investing in the band. They kind of put the guys up in the house, and they asked me to record them eventually, and they actually ended up being a really interesting cast of characters, and for legal reasons, I don't want to get into too many details. Because it's just a crazy story, but
The murder case is still pending, so. I'm just kidding.
yeah, no, literally, but I mean, we could talk about it some other time. But
Okay, fair enough.
we had to leave. We had to leave the house, and it was an emergency. It was a nearly violent emergency, and we had to leave. So Josh and I got into my car, and we were going to California to meet with this record label called Get Physical Music, which is a house music record label. It's just a underground dance music label. And so we're at the crux of going to meet them, and we're running a little late. And he looks over at me. We're in the car. He's like, "Oh man, I just got a message that these two ladies, their dog just died, and they're really important ladies to me. They helped me record my first, EP or whatever. And I think we should go see them. But if we go see them, we're going to miss the meeting with this Get Physical Music label." And I was like, well, all right, let's go see him. Like, fuck it. Like, we
Wow.
can meet with the other guys anytime.
A lot of other people might have looked at him and said, "What the fuck are you talking about? Are you out of your mind?"
Yeah, no, it was one of those moments where it was like, it was very clear, like, you either do this or you do this. But for whatever reason, my intuition was like, well, both of our intuitions were like, let's go see these ladies, because they helped Josh out a lot. Like, he was living in his car, and the classic story of living in your car, being a musician in LA.
That's when I met Josh. He was living in his car.
Yeah, so I was like, let's go see him. Like, I don't know, like, whatever. And we get there, and we're telling him everything that happened, and we're like, yeah, we had to bail out of the house. Like, it was getting dangerous there. Like, there was just, there's a lot of violence going on, and it's not something we want to be involved with as musicians, like,
Right.
in the slightest. So they were like, oh my God, well, we're moving to Northern California soon, and this house is going to be empty. Why don't you guys move in here and set up your studio here? And this is in Malibu. We're like, what? Yeah.
Mind you, it's
move.
beautiful, beautiful home.
We went there.
Like, we went there. Just
it is.
walk down, like, just beautiful.
It is amazing.
Yeah, they really liked the music we were making, and they were like, okay, just finish recording here. Like, are you serious? Like,
They're like, yeah, we're not going to be here. House is empty.
Yeah, so we were like, yeah, definitely, we're going to do that. So, sorry if it's a little noisy. There's somebody trimming the lawn outside.
The Costa Rican lawn, man.
It gets thick out there.
Yeah. But anyway, it was so magical, dude. Like, how does that even happen? Yeah. We're on the verge of, like, being homeless and, like, maybe going to jail. And now we're living in Malibu. Like, what?
With an amazing home studio.
Welcome to the Wild Wild West, folks.
Like, what?
Yeah. So, like, that happened, and we moved in. We started recording more and more, and these two ladies happened to know. They had this old friend who they actually mentored when he was young, and he had a little independent record label, and he was connected to, like, a lot of the bigger labels in the UK, which Virgin EMI is one of them. So over the course of a few months, we were sending him music and started meeting with him. And they really liked the music. And I remember we flew to London at one point. This all happened, like, really fast, like within a year, like a year or so. And we flew to London, met with the guys a couple times. They bring this really old guy into the studio who's like, he talks like this, and he sounds like he smokes 20 packs a day.
And he's like, a boxer, and he'll punch you.
Those are the fucking legends, bro.
Punch you in the face.
Yeah, he like literally was notorious for, like, punching someone in the face in order to get a deal done. So
he actually
liked the music.
Punched me once.
What?
He accidentally punched me once. Yeah.
I don't think that was an accident.
Well, he was like joking.
He
was like joking around, and then he actually made contact. He's like, "Oh," because he was a little older, you know.
Yeah, sorry, your face was there.
Yeah. So
they walk this old guy in that beats the piss out of people. Then what?
Yeah, he doesn't say anything really. He's just sitting there. He's like, "Okay, I like this music." So we go back to Malibu, back in LA for a little while, and Josh went somewhere, I don't remember where. I think this might have been around the time he was, like, seeing his girlfriend who was in Europe all the time. So he was traveling, and I was at the house by myself, and I get a phone call from the two ladies who own the house. They're like, hey, Knocker, the old guy from the studio, his name's Knocker. He wants to meet with you. He's going to be in
knock
LA.
People out.
Yeah. Knocker.
Yeah. He's like, he wants to meet with you guys. Are you guys gonna be at the house in a couple days? And I was like, like, I'm here. Like, I'll meet with him. Like, so he shows up at the house like 2 days later, and we hung out for like 3 or 4 hours, just listening to all the music and telling him all the stuff that we're doing, and you know, our goals as a band. And
Did Josh come back?
yeah. No, he was still. He's still out of town.
So it was just you.
me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we were hanging out in the studio, just like all we were doing was talking about what music we liked and like how good music is and like why it's so important. Like, it's all about the fucking music. Like, no bullshit about money or status or whatever. We're just talking about music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the coolest conversations I've had with somebody. And at the end of it, he's like, oh, I better get an Uber back. You know, it's getting late. And he checks the Uber, and it's like $150 for the Uber.
Jesus.
And he's like, oh my god, it's like $150 fucking dollars for the Uber. I'm like, and I was like, I'll just drive you back. Where do you need to go? Like, I don't have anything to do right now. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, I'll drive you. So,
I don't even have to punch you in the face.
He's like, okay, well, we're going to Lucy and Grange's house, who's like the CEO of Universal Music Group. It's like, that's where I'm staying.
Oh wow.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. That's cool with me.
Is there Mickey D's close? You want to grab like a chicken McNugget or something like that on the way there?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, just another Tuesday, whatever. Yeah. And yeah, I dropped him off there. I didn't go in or anything. Like, it was this crazy, like, high tech security, mega gated property. And I dropped him off there, and like, didn't hear from him for like a week or two. And then I think we had one more meeting in London, and then nothing really came through. And then like maybe a month later, like, we got a phone call that the Virgin Records wanted to sign us. Jesus. It was like literally, like, and all happened within a year.
Boom.
So did you explain that this was like a possible major opportunity to the rest of the bandmates, or did you kind of write it off as like, okay, you hung out with this guy, you guys had a great talk about music, you dropped him off at, you know, this UMG CEO's house that you didn't go into, and you're like, okay, I guess that's that? Or did you go and be like, guys, holy shit, this is insane,
bro? I don't think they even know I had that meeting to this day.
Oh my god.
Okay, so when Virgin goes to sign you guys, is Josh like, what the fuck is happening right now?
No, I mean, it's so hard to explain, but he was so on his own trip about like what he was doing and contributing that he didn't really factor in all the other stuff that the other people were doing to contribute as well.
Gotcha.
So I don't think he even knew like how it all went down, honestly.
For sure. Okay, so let's fast forward now. So the reason we got onto Virgin was because you were signed to Virgin when you did Raspberry Kiss, which we just played a little while ago, and you wind up going to Austria to shoot a 360 VR music video that ASAP Froggy here gets involved in. So let's talk about that first of all. What like gave you guys this idea to do this 360 VR music video back then? Because that's not something. Yeah,
no one was doing this shit.
People weren't really doing that sort of
thing. You look
at
some music videos from 2017, and you are going to see some shit. I'll tell you that.
And even people around you guys at the time were like supportive of it, but they were telling you that you were about 5 years ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, this goes back to Burning Man too, like being around a lot of tech people. And Josh had met this tech investor guy named Sasha, who he was like a proponent of some of the early 360 cameras, like I think Insta360. He was like an investor in those technologies, and we wanted to shoot this video. And Josh wrote the whole video treatment. We were like sitting in a hotel room together, finishing it up, and he hits up Sasha through Facebook or whatever, and he's like, hey man, we want to shoot this music video. We just got signed to Virgin Records, and this is going to be our first single release, and we want to do one of the scenes in 360, like in VR. And Sasha's like, cool, why don't we just do the whole thing in VR?
Yes.
And we're like, All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. Like I don't even know what that means, but yeah, definitely we're doing that.
Yes.
So
That's amazing.
so yeah, just like it all lined up. Like it was like one Facebook message, yes, and then like I mean everything else after that, like there's a lot of details, like shit did not go smoothly, like upon execution a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But like getting it to the point where you could execute it was
Yes.
very smooth.
Yes.
So like we got the whole crew together. There's like over 30 people involved in this thing, and it's just like it was kind of just like stringing it together. Like it was nuts, dude.
Let
Like,
me ask you a question. Where did we stay, man?
like for the video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with like the fucking huge ass castle.
Stayed in a castle.
We stayed in a fucking castle. Yeah. It was literally
Dude,
like
I found we're like we need a place to shoot this
Bro,
video.
those fucking photos of you guys in that castle were some of the dopest. I was like,
Damn,
bro,
I gotta get on Airbnb in Austria.
yeah.
yeah. How did you find it? Because I feel like that was a whole thing as well. And what was
Yeah,
the
so
town
we're like-
called? I forget what the town was called. Do you remember
Where the castle was?
Yeah.
I wish I remembered. I can't think of it right now. Linz, maybe? I think
It was
Linz.
just this little picturesque town out of like a little storybook.
Yeah, I think it might have been Linz.
And Virgin paid for everything.
Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
The wonderful
But,
record labels. Yeah, go ahead.
So we needed a place to shoot most of the video, and it was so expensive to like rent anything, like any cool property in Austria. Like I'm talking like 12,000 euros for a couple hours, right?
Wow.
Which like you can do, like you can make it happen. But I remembered this video shoot I helped one of my friends on in Joshua Tree, and all he did was Airbnb this property for a few days and like had the whole crew and cast like live in Joshua Tree, like on the property, and it was amazing. So I was like, I'm just gonna go on Airbnb, and I typed in castle, and it was like the first thing that came up was this huge ancient fucking like warlord's castle.
Yellow.
Okay, this is
Yellow.
very funny though, because when I said I gotta get on Austrian Airbnb, I was totally fucking joking. You literally
That's
went on
literally what
Airbnb and found a castle.
I like the very first, like, thought is just castle.
Yeah.
Like, and boom. Like, your instincts are fucking flawless, my friend.
It was insane. I was like, bro, we gotta rent this castle, because it was like, I think it was only like $1,000 a night, maybe.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, we're going
And
there.
it wasn't nothing crazy. It wasn't too crazy expensive,
And then you
but it was huge.
and then you plan to shoot the video there.
Yeah, most of it we shot there, and it was perfect.
It's awesome.
It was just like everything you could imagine, like an old ass like castle that a lot of crime and shit has happened in, probably.
So you intimated that Virgin didn't necessarily pay for everything. How'd that go down?
Okay, so Sasha told us he would pay for it, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, we had a pretty decent budget for the video. I think it was like $30,000 or something like that, which was a lot, for a first music video.
Yeah.
Which, that came out of our budget that we already had from the deal. And we're like, okay, well, Sasha's going to pay for the rest. So we're good. Like, it doesn't matter, but
Money is not
when
a factor.
yeah. Well, so anyway, like it came down to like brass tacks, and like he didn't pay what he said he was going to pay.
No.
And unfortunately, like I was not part of negotiating that deal with him, so I don't know the details what happened, but I know we had to come out of pocket like total for the video. I think it was like almost 70 grand.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
Damn.
so like way over budget, which came out of our budget, so that we should have used for other things, but that's not what we did. So
Shit happens, I suppose, right?
But man, you guys created magical experiences for a lot of people.
Well, and yeah, I was going to kind of touch on that
Yeah.
because I wasn't there, obviously. These guys were involved with you at that period of time. ASAP Froggy was out there with you guys. But every single story I've heard about like being around you guys is that there's all of these not only crazy experiences but very spiritual experiences, and that everyone connects on this ethereal level, and it's wild. And it sounds like, you know, with some of the stuff that you're talking about, that spirituality sort of played a factor in you just being in the right place at the right time, maybe. Are you still of that mindset and a very spiritual person, and how does that guide you in terms of where you wind up?
yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's like, I mean, it was a priority for me years ago, and today, like, my spiritual growth is like even more of a priority than it was all those years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's what I try to keep in mind at the forefront of everything. And yeah, it's just like it's realizing, like, you know, we are really all connected, and we all, a lot of us share the same goals. And when you get those people that share the same goals together in a room, who are inspired and like motivated and are crazy enough to think they can do anything, you get them together and like magic shit happens. It's just like the law. I don't know how. It's just how it goes.
If enough people continually
It's fucking
believe in
Web3.
something, yeah. Essentially, that's what I was going to say. Is like we can give people a platform to connect on that level virtually.
Well, and it sounds like, you know, at the root of everything, connection is where this all starts in terms of that success, right? Because you talk about this amazing conversation that you had with the old British guy, and it's not about money, it's not about profits, it's about the music, and it's about the love of the music, and it's about connecting on that level. And he clearly saw something in you beyond, you know, just what was happening in the recording studio, to where, you know, there was something worthwhile in terms of pursuing. So
Yeah, he believed in you all very, very much, Knocker.
Oh yeah,
You could see that.
Yeah,
out of all the people that were surrounding you guys, like he was the man.
dude, he literally walked in to Ted Koppel's office, who was like the CEO of Virgin at the time, and he's like, "You need to sign these guys. That's it." And then shook hands, and that's how it went.
I wish everything was that simple.
Like-
Or I'm gonna knock your ass off.
Yeah.
You've been here for a few years. I am the fucking building.
Guys, I think
Our
what it comes
British
down
accents. Ed is gonna be so pissed.
Yeah,
at
he
us
really
right
is.
now.
But I think what it comes down to, guys, is that we need some muscle, right? Because
Yeah.
we need
Yeah.
somebody going around punching people in the face and getting shit done for us, I think.
And you know, man, like I had been
Yep.
thinking about him this year, and I reached out to you maybe a couple months ago, man. I was like, "How's Knocker doing?" And I was like, "Did you ever reach out to him?"
Yeah, I messaged him like, "Hey, how are you?" I hadn't talked to him in a couple of years, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm good, mate. Thanks. How are you?"
And wasn't it at a time where, like, I feel like I had been thinking about him for a few days, and I text you, and you and I hadn't spoke for a while, and you were like telling me that you had been thinking about him for like the last few days or something like that, if I'm remembering
Oh
correctly.
yeah, it was. Yeah, you messaged me, and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I should just message him and be like, "Yo, how are you?" Because he was like,
And then I'm like messaging out of the blue, like, "Man, how's Knocker? Like, you should message him."
Which doesn't surprise me, because every single interaction you have with everyone winds up being some crazy sort of connection. It's insane.
It's weird.
I do want to play some of the solo stuff you sent in so that people get a chance to hear that. So out of the tracks that you sent ASAP, is there a particular one you want to feature first here?
ASAP. You mean Hattie?
Out of the tracks you sent ASAP.
Oh,
I'm sitting
Doc
over
Froggle
here.
Day, this is ASAP Froggle.
Hey, man.
shut the
ASAP
hell
Rock.
up! I know
Doc
what's
Froggle.
going on.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, hey.
No, I don't really have a preference. Play whenever.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna go with The Dog Days.
All right, let's hear The Dog Days by Taylor Hattie. Check it out. That is a vibe. So do you just get super down when you're recording and dance around creating these beats?
That still goes for like 4 more minutes on there too. That's that is it's still playing in the background. Just a heads up, everyone. We are not going to stop it. But Bingus wants to ask you a question or two over here.
Oh, I think he's probably over there still dancing to it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my mic was off. It's all good.
Bro, that shit was sick though. It is like there's some major drops in there too that we can see, and it looks like it,
Yeah. So what's it like recording something like that? Do you get a certain vibe going in the studio? You get the lights a certain way. You light some candles. What's going on?
What's the sauce?
It's different. It's different every time, but I have like before I start going, I have to like work out and meditate like for 2 or 3 hours.
Get your head
and
right.
I find, if I don't do that, like I can't. It doesn't come out right, and I'm like beating my head against the wall. But like as soon as I feel it click, like in my brain, like when I feel like really clear, I just like sit or stand working, and I don't know, it just like kind of comes out.
Wow, that's like Ozzy
like,
does that.
Like
before.
for that kind of.
Go for
What's
it.
that?
No, I was just saying Ozzy Osbourne. I know that he does he literally does yoga before every single one of his shows. So it's like a form of getting your mind in the right place so that you can deliver your best is very important. So I think that's incredible. You focus on that because you understand how important it is.
Yeah, man. Like I used to, like years ago, like when we were doing the band stuff, like I used to like do some psychedelic drug or something before working on the music, and eventually that stopped working for me, and I found that like I have a much better result, like just exercising and doing some form of meditation before I start working.
Right.
And it just like it's just much cleaner, and like I can actually focus for longer than using like a microdose of whatever,
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's all experiences in the grand story, right? Because I've heard some crazy stories of you guys in all sorts of different places of the world, and in caves, and doing all sorts of psychedelics and having some sick experiences. But all of that came through in the music too, because I watched some of your music videos and some of your live performances, and there's just something so visceral about what's going on with the band and living in that moment in the music and just going for it. And it's exciting.
Thanks. Yeah, man. It was just real.
Yeah, exactly.
So we weren't putting on a front or anything. It's just like that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And like
sure.
there's amazing moments that were captured because of that. Like just deciding to go to a cave and film, right? So like we're hiking through the hills of Malibu, and they're just playing music, and there's strangers that approach, and they're just like watching them perform on the side of a hill in Malibu.
I fucking love it.
I fucking love it. And just there's a music video on YouTube, and maybe we'll post a link to it. But it's an amazing real like Hattie's saying is they weren't faking that.
Yeah.
And it attracted people to come feel what they were putting out.
Yeah, man. It was that was so fun, man. Like
it really was.
Well, and I love that just spirit about you, that it's like everything is like, yeah, just fucking go for it. It's like you feel it, go for it. There's a meeting that could potentially progress your career, but somebody's dog dies and you want to be empathetic, fucking go for it. Screw it, because that's being real. That's being a human being.
Funny enough as well, we took a dog, Josh's dog, on that hike, and that dog's name is There He Is, like Therius almost, but There He Is. And we lost that dog.
Oh,
so
shit.
It's
Briefly.
Yeah. It's dark, and it's dark, and everyone's going, There he is! there he is.
Like, where?
And people are like, oh, you got him? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
name
There
for
he
a
is.
dog.
There he is. Where? It happened multiple times. It literally happened multiple times.
Not to mention, you guys are probably on the psychedelics at that point, so everyone's like, "There he's where
You got him? Yeah, we were hiking out of there at night, and that was pretty cool as well.
That was a whole experience.
Gabriel,
three cameras.
Shia Papoose was a little worried on that hike.
I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I remember looking at Hattie being like, "I'm scared to climb down this cave, dude."
You just gotta go for it, man. Just
Nah,
gotta-
wedge
gotta
down.
do
So
it.
this music that we were just playing of yours sounds like something that would be just awesome to vibe out to in a club. Do you do any sort of DJing of your stuff?
I probably will. I have a few times. My priority was always the band.
Yeah.
So now that I have more free time, that's what I plan on doing. So
For sure. And I know that you were talking with ASAP about some NFT project that you were launching. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Is that something that you are still doing, or are you still just kind of like dabbling and creating different layers?
Well, I don't want to just like launch something without thinking it out thoroughly. And the more I like refine the idea, I want it to be more music focused and do something special. So that's why I've been like creating like all this new music and like seeing where that leads me. So it's still like a very infantile idea in my mind, but definitely looking to explore it and expand it.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Right.
So, and when you make music like this, I know that you were saying you're primarily a guitar player. So do some of these melodies start on the guitar and then you transfer them over to synth sounds, or how does that work in terms of the actual production of the music?
A lot of the times that happens, yeah, it starts on guitar, and then I play a little keyboard too, and then I just program it into the sequencer, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, a lot of it does start on guitar.
That's awesome. Well, I do want to be respectful of your time because I know that you got other things going on there in Costa Rica. It's been absolutely fucking awesome talking with you and going through everything. I do want to see if there's, if you have a couple more minutes, if there's anyone in the audience that would like to come up, ask you a word or two, say something, give them that opportunity. You got a couple more minutes?
Yeah, sure. It's been awesome.
All right, great. So, yeah, if anyone from the audience would like to come up and say anything, now's the time. Hattie's given us a lot of his time, and we appreciate that, and we want to let him get back to the rest of his very spiritual, musical life.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Keep you going on your journey. Who knows who you're going to meet next and what you're going to do today.
I have a question. When are you planning to come back to LA?
Never, man. It's a deep, dark, black hole.
No, I've been thinking about that, man. Like, we'll see. I feel like I need to go back to the U.S. soon for some reason. I don't know why, but
It's a feeling you have, and you got to follow those feelings.
Well,
yeah,
you've always been one of the people that I've thought about while we've been building Sapo Studios and talking about what the possibilities are, and I think I've reached out to you several times over the course of the last 2 years.
Well, and he was already a notorious frog holder, which was...
Well, he just became one.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
well,
welcome to the
community.
community, Mr. Hattie.
I'm a new frog.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, we're so happy to have
He
you.
just
PFP.
grew his legs, baby, from being a
I
tadpole.
see you changed your PFP because literally, when I knew that you were coming on the show, I was like, I think I'm gonna get him a frog, and then I went to OpenSea and I saw that frog, and I was like, maybe that's the one I should get him. And then you text me.
Shut the fuck up. No, that did not happen.
Every-
I swear to God,
connects for this.
That is ridiculous.
I text him saying like, "That's so weird, bro, that you're sending me a screenshot of that one," because I was literally.
I
like,
just
just-
have to say
Oh
I'm
my
a
God.
little annoyed with you right now because I'm thinking like all of this manifesting you're doing, right? Like can't we win the fucking lottery already?
Yeah.
Like,
I wish
dude,
it worked like
which
that. I
which
don't-
ticket do we need to buy today?
Numbers. Give me the numbers.
I don't even know. I wish I
well,
knew.
Figure it the fuck
I
out,
wish I
man.
knew, man.
Very good.
It's
All right. On that note, I don't think there's anybody with questions.
It looks like we got a shy audience. That's fine. I get shy sometimes. You know?
I get
curl
shy.
into a ball. And,
I get
and
shy
just,
at poos.
Yes. But
All right. Well, on that note, we really appreciate your time today, Hattie. This was awesome. Thank you for calling in all the way from Costa Rica.
Yeah, man, I love you, bro. And,
I love you too, man.
Definitely, got to come out here soon, or I'll have to make a trip to Costa Rica. Man.
I'll go to Costa Rica.
Yeah,
I was
fun.
I was down there with my fiance doing some stuff. You know, it was a lot of fun. So I'd love to go back to Costa Rica.
You bumpkin.
Yeah, man.
It's
Love you guys too. I appreciate it. That was really fun. So
thank you,
thanks.
brother.
And we'll talk about what Sapo Studios is doing and see how you can get involved, because we need artists as part of this pioneering that we're doing,
and amazing creators such as
and as well, knowing some of these events that are
Soundscapes.
coming up, you know what I mean, and some like NFTLA and whatnot, and if seeing if they need anybody with such skill sets, just to even get Hattie paid, and as well, get his wet whistle deeper in the Web 3. His whistle wet. Sorry,
I mean, his whistle is already wet. So you're right, getting his wet whistle back on the neck.
There we go.
Get people blowing into it. Man.
I see where this is going. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right now.
This is too notorious. This is too notorious.
We're always trying to use something here.
Yeah. All right. But yes,
something to
let's
explain
let's-
something else.
Yeah.
You
Let's
can tell we love South Park as kids.
let's definitely get these artists paid, and that's a great idea. Let's see who we can plug Hattie in with, and let's see what we can do.
We're gonna make some plugs.
Listen, thank you so much again. Love y'all for being audience members today. This was a great show, and we really appreciate you being here to vibe with us and to go on this journey with us. So hope everyone has a great rest of your Saturday, a great rest of your weekend, and if you haven't already joined the Frogland community, hop on board. We're waiting for you. All right, much love. Have a great rest of your day.
Sapo Studios out.